Hey golfers, I am super excited for this video because I've heard your cries for help. You've been slicing it, you've been chunking it, you've been thinning it. Well, in this video, we're gonna work on that lead wrist position, how to get it nice and neutral to have the ultimate control of your club face. And I've got two simple drills that are gonna guaranteed change your golf game forever. Hi folks, Kevin Stella here. I'm the Director of Instruction at the Club at Old Hawthorne and Callaway Master Club Fitter, and we're going to dive right in. We're not going to waste any time today because I know this is going to change your golfing life. We're going to get that lead wrist nice and flat at the top of our swing. Now, why is that important? Well, because this lead wrist directly reflects where that club face is pointed. Club face is king. It's the number one influence of where that golf ball is going to go and how far you're going to hit it, and we're going to take care of it today in the easiest way possible. Now, there are two types of players at the top of their swings if you're not neutral. One is what's called a player that is cupped at the top of their swing, meaning we've got an angle between the back part of our hand and our wrist. Now, this is kind of the death zone for most golfers at the top of their swing because that opens the club face and causes those nasty slices that you've been trying to get rid of forever. Now, the other type of player is the player that goes opposite and goes in more of a bowed position, really getting those hands down there with a lot of angle, ending up shutting that club face and causing a lot of hooks and pulls. So what we're trying to do is find an in-between. Now, I've got a couple drills today to talk about this. Now, it's important also to say that everybody, when they set up to the ball, typically has a little bit of cupping as I set up to it. As you can see right here in my own stance, I'm not really forward pressing a whole bunch. As I set up to the ball, I have a little bit of an angle here between the back part of my hand and my forearm. So the point of this is to try and get out of that position so that at impact, we're not in that same position. And one of the easiest ways to do that is how to properly hinge. And I love talking about this too. Hinging the club properly has a lot to do with a lot of things. And actually, one of the most common questions I get is, why do I even need to hinge? Why can't I just keep that club face pointing at my golf ball, right? And just do one of these positions and hit it right down the line? Well, besides just looking at it that way, number one, you're going to lose a ton of power. You lose that swing speed. And number two, your contact. You're going to see most people doing that, trying to keep the ball straight. They're going to have a lot of thin shots. They're not going to have any angle of attack. So, you know, what goes up must come down. So if we have a little bit more of hinge, we're going to come down on that golf ball. We're going to strike it better and hit those crisper, cleaner shots. So the first drill I want to show you is this 45-degree angle drill. Now, see, a lot of people will lift their club up and hinge directly upwards like so, and then take the club back. But as you can see right off the bat, that's already going to put me in a cupped position of what I'm trying to avoid. Then you have the other players that are really hinge early and go right down their feet line, and the club shaft is pointed right down their feet line, and that club face is turned way down. And that's going to be, like as we said before, those people that will pull and hook the ball. What we're trying to do is find an in-between hinge area. So roughly at about a 45-degree angle. I've laid one stick down representing my club face in my ball position, another stick down going right down my feet line, and then a third stick roughly in between at about a 45-degree angle. Now, a good checker on this for you is you can take a alignment stick if you like, or a golf club, lay it from inside your lead heel to the outside of your trail toe as a good guide. And as you take this club back, you match your shaft to that 45-degree angle position. Therefore, it will allow you then to turn up to the top of your swing and be nice and flat, or even just slightly a little more shut. Like I said, most people will slice the ball, so this will help the majority of players. We set up neutral, we take it back about 45, and then we turn back to the top. This is humongous. If you have a long, tall mirror at your house, or you can bring it to the range if you want to, if you have one of those facilities, but put a mirror behind you just like this, facing down the line. And a great checker for this would be if you took the club back and you took the club back to club shaft parallel to the ground, where is your club face pointed right now? Is it neutral? with your spine angle, or is it open, or is it shut down? Nice and neutral is what we want. We're not trying to do any makeups. We're not trying to do any flips for a weird position at the top. So that's another great checker for you. Rehearse this drill over and over. Do it slow. Do it right, as we say with Team KSG. And check to see if that club angle is matching your spine angle. That's a great checker. Another one that we see that probably has more reflection of that cupped area at the top of your swing is what our trail arm is doing, right? So for your right-handed players, that means your right arm. As you can see, at the top of my swing, the second that I separate that trail arm is the second that this club and this wrist angle starts getting cupped again. I'm nice and tucked in. The more that I separate, the more cupped it gets, and the more open that club face gets. So you want to feel like that top of your swing, your trail elbow is tucked in and almost like you're holding a cup of soup with your trail hand. Therefore, your lead hand will get right on top of that and feel nice and neutral. Now I'm level 2 TPI certified, going to be level 3 here soon, and what a fantastic program for people that are really serious about golf. And this is the reason why. It's a fitness program paired with golf professionals, as fitness experts, and medical field experts. And for instance, one of the tests that we do is called the 90-90 test. And that simply means that we had somebody standing up straight like so. We put their arm just like this and see how much they can externally rotate back behind them. For a lot of people that have restrictions in their shoulders, and especially their shoulder area, and they can only go to so far like this, you're going to see most of those players into that position. So that's great off-season work for those of you that really cannot rotate your shoulder back externally like this to keep that that elbow nice and tucked inside, getting those wrist angles in that nice position. That's something to look into. Okay, so the 90-90 test. Now, what's a drill in order to keep that elbow tucked inside? This is kind of old school, but super easy. And all you do is you take your left hand or your lead hand, put it on the outside of your elbow just like this. And as you're taking that club back, you're keeping that pressure, pushing the inside of that elbow toward your body so that it forces you to rotate backwards. As I mentioned earlier, people forget about rotation, right? So this is more of a rotation thing. We're combining that good wrist hinge now with rotation, and now we're on that 45-degree angle that we're looking for. Okay, so left hand over right elbow, feel that pressure on the inside, rotate back, feel that good angle, and rock and roll. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is for the majority of players. Now, don't confuse yourself if you're looking online and seeing some players, tour players, for instance, that might have a little bit of a cup or a little bit of a bow at the top of their swings. That's usually because their swing coaches are making up for a grip that they might have. So, for instance, if somebody has a really strong grip and they really want to shut that face down in the beginning, well, they're going to have to get a little bit of cup in their swing at the top of their swing in order to balance out that club face. Now that's at a very high level, right? So when you look at stuff online, keep that in mind. But the majority of the time, we're not looking for makeups. We're trying to keep it nice and neutral. We don't want to have any kind of thing preventing us from really adding another gear. We don't want to add any more gears to our swing than what we need to, okay? So cover two things. We got proper hinge at 45 degrees. Put us in that nice position. And then we also combine that with our elbow tucked into our side and allowing us to rotate, again, putting us in that nice flat position. So you got two drills here that will guarantee change your life. Put them into play, practice hard, and we'll see you next week for more tips.